Imagine you're on a plane, preparing for takeoff, with the excitement of your long-awaited destination in the air. Suddenly, amidst the usual hum of the cabin, chaos breaks out. A family of 4 is asked to leave the plane. But here's the twist. What if this family isn't just any ordinary passengers? What if they are the owners of the very airline you're flying with? What could have sparked such an incident, and how will it end? Stay with us, because this is a story you won't want to miss. Welcome to today's incredible tale. Before we dive into the details, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss more stories like this. And if you have thoughts about today's topic, we'd love to hear them in the comments below. Now, let's get started. It seemed like an ordinary flight. A family of 4, parents, Mark and Emma Lawrence, and their 2 children, a 6-year-old boy and his younger sister, boarded a commercial flight on a bright, sunny day. Their attire was elegant, their manners polite. They blended in seamlessly with the other passengers. However, one of the flight attendants, named Victoria, found something unusual about this family. Witnesses later said that Victoria was surprisingly strict toward them. She nitpicked their carry-on luggage, criticized how their belongings were placed, and gave them piercing looks. Mark, the father, remained calm, though it was clear he was uncomfortable. He followed her instructions, but the tension kept escalating. The turning point came when their 6-year-old son quietly asked for an extra blanket. A simple request suddenly turned into the beginning of a confrontation. Victoria harshly declared that the family was causing trouble and needed to leave the plane. Passengers around them began to murmur in disbelief. Some even offered their own blankets to help defuse the situation. But the flight attendant was adamant. She called security, and the family, gathering their belongings, quietly headed toward the exit. Everyone thought the story would end there. But as they reached the aisle, Mark turned around and loudly said, "You'll be hearing from our lawyers. This airline belongs to us." These words shocked everyone on board. The cabin fell silent, interrupted only by the sound of the engines humming in the background. Passengers exchanged bewildered looks. Some whispered to one another, while others appeared to struggle to process what they had just heard. Could it be true? Was it possible that this man wasn't just a passenger, but the owner of the airline? As it turned out, Mark Lawrence wasn't joking. He was indeed one of the founders and largest shareholders of Sky Horizon Airlines. Together with his wife Emma, an accomplished lawyer and talented businesswoman, they had spent years building the company's reputation as a champion of equality and inclusion. The core mission of Sky Horizon was to create comfortable and accessible travel experiences for people of all nationalities and social backgrounds. The Lawrence family had always made an effort to travel incognito, avoiding attention. They genuinely wanted to experience their company's services just as regular passengers would. But this quiet approach unexpectedly worked against them. When the family returned home, Mark and Emma wasted no time filing an official complaint against the flight attendant. The leadership at Sky Horizon, upon learning about the incident, initiated an internal investigation. The story quickly made headlines, sparking widespread public outrage. Social media buzzed with posts from passengers who had witnessed the event firsthand. Hashtags like #flying with respect and Sky Horizon Justice gained rapid traction, and the discussions showed no signs of slowing down. The airline's board of directors convened an emergency meeting. They understood that the incident involving the Lawrences struck at the heart of the company's reputation and core values. The flight attendant, Victoria, was temporarily suspended pending the investigation. Simultaneously, the company issued a public apology to the Lawrence family, acknowledging the inappropriateness of what had occurred. But for Mark and Emma, an apology wasn't enough. They decided to turn this unfortunate experience into an opportunity to make the industry better. Mark and Emma Lawrence believed that an apology and the temporary suspension of the responsible employee were only the first steps. They were convinced that to prevent similar situations in the future, the company's internal standards and culture needed a complete overhaul. Together, they developed a comprehensive plan for change that touched on every aspect of Sky Horizon's operations. The first step was the implementation of mandatory training for all employees. The program focused on cultural diversity, emotional intelligence, and professional conduct. This training helped employees better understand the importance of empathy and respect in customer service. But the Lawrences didn't stop there. They launched a new initiative called Sky Unity, aimed at supporting underrepresented groups in the aviation industry. As part of the program, the company offered scholarships to students from diverse communities who aspired to work in aviation. It was their way of inspiring the next generation of pilots, flight attendants, engineers, and leaders. Additionally, Mark and Emma personally met with employees at all levels, holding open discussions on how to improve working conditions and customer interactions. They were determined not just to address the consequences of the incident, but to lay the foundation for a more inclusive corporate culture. The incident with the flight attendant also became the catalyst for regular monitoring of passenger service quality. Sky Horizon began utilizing anonymous surveys and external audits to assess how employees interacted with customers and to address any issues promptly. What stood out most was that the Lawrences didn't limit their efforts to reforms within the company. They also initiated industry-wide conferences where representatives from airlines worldwide shared their strategies for promoting inclusion and respect in aviation. Their efforts began to yield results. Within months of the incident, Sky Horizon's customer satisfaction ratings increased significantly, and the company became a role model in the aviation industry. The Lawrences' story demonstrated that even from unfortunate situations, valuable lessons can be learned and transformed into a catalyst for positive change. The story of the Lawrences became a widely discussed topic, not only in the aviation industry, but also across society as a whole. It brought attention to critical issues related to bias, equality, and responsibility. The media closely followed the developments, covering every new initiative introduced by the family. Passengers who were on that fateful flight publicly expressed their support for the Lawrences, sharing their versions of the events in interviews and on social media. These testimonials strengthened public trust in the fact that the Lawrences were genuinely committed to making a positive change. One particularly moving story was about the young boy from their family who, at the age of 6, inadvertently became part of a significant cultural shift. In an interview, Emma Lawrence shared, "We explained to our son that sometimes it's hard for people to be fair because they're used to thinking in stereotypes. But we also told him that it's important not to give up and to fight for a better world. Now he knows that kindness and perseverance can overcome injustice." These words spread across social media, inspiring thousands of people. Many noted that the Lawrences set an example of how to respond to injustice with dignity and grace. Meanwhile, the Sky Unity initiative continued to expand. Mark and Emma brought other airlines into the project, creating a coalition called Wings of Change. This organization focused on developing educational programs for aviation employees worldwide. It also hosted workshops and conferences dedicated to issues of equality and inclusion. A year after the incident, Sky Horizon received an award for its contributions to advancing corporate social responsibility. During the awards ceremony, Mark delivered a speech that moved everyone in attendance. "We are not perfect, like any other company, but we believe that the power to create change lies within each of us. Our mission is not to turn a blind eye to problems, but to use them as opportunities to become better. We hope this example will inspire others to follow the same path." As he finished, the audience rose to their feet, breaking into thunderous applause. This story was no longer just about one family or one company. It had become an example for many, reminding everyone that respect and equality should not just be words, they must be actions.